know the real power, given what I said a few minutes ago about asking people? You ask them which day they want to be called. You ask them. You tell me Monday through Friday the best day to reach you. By the way, hear what I just said? Monday through Friday. Don't do what I did when I first started doing this. So what's the best day to call you once a week? Oh, Saturday. Good. Okay, right. You steer them to Monday through Friday, and then I ask them for a 30-minute window period. You give me a 30-minute window period. Tuesdays, give me a 30-minute window period. 5 to 5:30, done. I will call you every Tuesday between 5 and 5:30 until your home sells. And then I finally learned to say these words. And we're getting in well into week 4. We're getting a little overloaded, maybe a little bit. I hope these words don't just float right on by. I hope you hear them. It is a huge turning point in my career. When I said to them, contract signed, button everything up, walking out the door, and I say to them, okay, now our understanding is I'm going to call you a minimum every Tuesday between 5 and 5:30. I want you to know, given the market conditions we have today, as we've discussed, it's very likely that I may call you on some Tuesdays and I have what? Nothing to say. Remember those words. Because the single biggest reason we do not call our sellers with enough frequency is because we have nothing to say. Every 2 weeks, I sent to my sellers what I called my seller's activity report. It's a reporting period in a 2-week period of time. And it says, during this period, our records indicate your property received ad calls, sign calls, showing appointments, previews, that kind of information. The most important part of the form is the bottom half, and that's new listings on the market this period and new sales this period. It's a miniature market analysis every 14 days. Homes in the same area, same price range. Here's what's going on. Because the truth of the matter is, for many of us in our marketplace, we take a listing today, a month from today, we're further behind than where we were the night we listed it. There's more homes, there's been 7 more listings, and there's been 3 sales. We've lost ground. What you're looking at right there in your workbook is the single strongest and most successful system I ever created to get price reductions on my inventory. Most agents wait too long to give sellers this kind of information. Is that a fair statement? I gave it to them every 14 days. Made my job much easier, made my life much less stressful. Pricing. I want to give you the 2 strongest pricing strategies I ever utilized in my own career. The first one I'm going to give you, I can't even put into words how strong this was, how much money this made me, how well a job it did in getting me pricing my listings correctly. When I go out there and meet the seller, I tell them there are 3 prices for every home. There's 3 prices for every home out there. And we need to discuss every one of them. You see, the first price we need to discuss is how much you would like. We need to get that right out in the open. And they say to you, well, we'd like $300,000. Now, obviously, I'm making up numbers which are not going to be appropriate to all different parts of the world, in the country here. So just kind of play along with me. Well, we'd like $300,000. Hear this now. Listen carefully. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's a family member. You're sitting there at the kitchen table, and they say they'd like $300,000. Their mindset almost always is, you are the enemy. Maybe a strong word, but they don't believe you're in their corner. Their mindset is, he or she is going to try to get me to price it lower than I want. Is that fair to say that? Because of that, follow these words. I go out of my way. Using an analogy we can all visualize, if there's a net, they see them on one side of the net, they see us on the other side. You with me? I go out of my way to make sure they know I'm on the same side of the net. So I say to them, I'd love to sell it for $300,000. I'd love to. And I'm sincere when I say that, because I would. I'd love to sell it for $300,000. I'll even go so far frequently to say, you know why? The more it sells for, the more what? I make. Let's not keep this thing a secret. I want them to know we got the same color uniform on. Are you with me on this one? But then I say, however, I owe you the truth. The truth is, in today's market, we're probably not going to get that. So the second price we need to deal with is the probable sales price. I know you'd like $300,000. Love, quite honestly, if we get $235,000, $245,000, somewhere in that range, we'll be doing well. And I know you don't want to hear it, but I owe you the truth. But you know what? There's a third price, and it's really the only one that counts tonight. It's not how much you like. It's not even what I say to probably sell for. The only price that really counts is how much to list it for. That's the one we both, the three of us, we need to focus on that price. How much to list it for. And I'll take you back to week 1 video. And week 1, the DVD, I said to you, one of the very first things I said to you was to learn these statistics. And one of the statistics halfway down that page was the list price, sales price ratio. So I can sit there in front of the seller and say to them, today in your price range, in your area, the list price, sales price ratio is 95%. That means the average seller discounts their home by 5% in order to make a sale. What that means, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is that we should not price the home more than 5% of what I say the probable sales price will be. Do you follow what I just said? You take them on an educational journey on how you actually derive through a mathematical equation a dollar amount to list their home for. Because what most consumers feel we do as agents when it comes to pricing their home, they think we pull a number out of the air. Educate them, take them on a journey with you, increases your message of competence. Here's my favorite pricing question I've ever learned to ask people. I ask sellers this question: are you willing to sell your home for fair market value? Are you willing to sell your home for fair market value? It's very difficult for a seller to look you in the eye and say, oh no, we won't sell it for fair market value. That doesn't even sound reasonable to an unreasonable person. But here's what they do say. Well, yeah, we'd sell it for fair market value, but we're not going to give it away. So apparently you have the same sellers I had in my career. Every seller says that. And I wrestled for years on what to say to a seller when they said to me, I'm not going to give it away. And finally stumbled across the words that made me a fortune. What I said to them when they said we're not going to give it away, I said to them this question: at what price would you consider it to be giving it away? You see what we do for a living? We do our best to try to find out what the seller's what? Bottom line is. And we jump through all kinds of hoops to get to that. That question right there gets you to their bottom line. At what price would you consider to be giving it away? Marketing. There's so many different ways of marketing. You know, in this 4-week program, all I can tell you, the most important thing is that you need a marketing checklist. You need to know in black and white on a piece of paper, what are the 20, what are the 30, what are the 12, what do you do to market a home? I'm not going to go into that. You've got the obvious things. If you look at my marketing checklist right there in your workbook, you'll see it's got the most blasé things, like put a sign in front of it, get your little brochures and flyers printed up, do the open house, your caravans and tours, internet exposure, different multiple websites expose it on. You come up with a marketing checklist, because if you don't, it's very difficult to sit in front of a seller and show them what you're going to do to sell their house. Here's what made me a lot of money with my marketing checklist. Notice on the right-hand side, there's a column, and that column is for date completed. Every time I did one of those tasks, I put the date I completed it, and I would email it to them, fax it to them, whatever you use, get it to them immediately. Because here's what I discovered about sellers. If they don't see what you're doing to sell their home, they think you're doing what? Nothing. Make it abundantly clear to them. Here's what I'm doing. If you want to guarantee future leads, I'm going to give you one last thing here in week 4. If you want to guarantee future leads, I rank what you're going to see on this, and I debated. It's never been in my 4-week program before. And I debated, and I felt, you know what? This is easily in the top 5 things I did my entire career. Some of you are very new, so maybe that's not even appropriate yet. But I hope you hear the message. This is my system on how I followed up with people when I sold them a home. I call them the day after the closing, and I thank them for the opportunity. I call them 1 week to the day from the closing. Make sure you write in your notes, to the day. Hey, Bill. Hey, this is Rick DeLuca. Hey, listen, I realized a week ago today is when we closed on your transaction, on your home. I just wonder how things are going, any problems, and anything I can help you with. I then call them 1 month to the day. Hey, Shirley. Hey, Rick. This is Rick. Hey, listen, I know it's a month ago today is when we closed on the house. How's the first month been? Things going okay? Any problems I need to know about? Something I can help you with? I then call them 6 months to the day. Hey, Wayne. Rick DeLuca. I was looking at my calendar and realized 6 months ago today is when we closed on your sale. How do you like the neighborhood? How do the kids like the school? What's it like living over there in that part of town? Not a surprise to anyone. The next call is on the what? The 1-year anniversary call. When I say, hey, Kelly, happy anniversary on your house, guess what? A year ago today is when we closed on the sale. How you guys been? If I haven't already impressed them, the next idea blows them away. Blows them away. And that is, I call them on the anniversary date of the sale every year for the rest of my career. I call them on the anniversary date of the closing every year for the balance of my career. Now, I didn't start doing this until my 3rd year in the business. So longest I ever called anybody was 13 years. And when I called people and said, hey, John, hey, Rick DeLuca, guess what? 6 years ago today, when you bought the house. And then I'll go back to one of the very first things I told you in week 1. Your database, your sphere of influence, the right-hand column. I said, make a note of how you originally meet them. So I can say, John, can you believe that it's been 6 years ago in May that we met at that? And he goes, God, you remember that? Yeah, it's right here in front of me, John. It's right here. No, you leave that part out. Don't tell him that. Sad but true. It doesn't take a lot to impress people in this age of our society. Is that true? Customer service is a thing that rarely exists at a high level. You have the opportunity to provide a superior level of customer service that'll generate more and more referral business than you can even imagine. So here we are, week 4 tasks. There it is. Tired of seeing it. Get in the office early. Expand that database. Get your market settings down. Make your calls. Write those notes. Listen to the DVDs and the CDs, and take that top page of the lunch. Schedule another open house. Put together your pre-listing packets and draft a business plan for the next 12 weeks. 12 weeks, not 12 months. That's what I want you to do. You do that. You do these activities as I've laid out for you over a 4-week period of time. Does it stand to reason that if you did them and then you just begin to repeat them, because after 30 days things become a what? A habit. You will have solid work skills. You will have a higher return on your investment of your time and energy and money. And this 4 weeks period of time will have hopefully flown by, and your career will be dramatically impacted just in the past 4 weeks. So take it seriously. I thank you for your involvement. I want to thank the people here today who helped me film this. And I want to thank the individual people that are watching these DVDs. Treat this as your job. Give yourself a sense of accomplishment. Check off the activities as you do them. It'll do more for you than you can even begin to imagine. So with that, you're on your own now. Okay, you're done.